The World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition.
This week on The World Apprentice, our focus is set on the country of Ukraine. Due to recent turmoil in this country, this week's challenge is to find a new and effective leader for Ukraine. We have brought back 4 powerful leaders from the past to help save this country. They will have to go through 3 different scenarios to determine who is the best fit for Ukraine. Stay tuned to find out who the next leader of Ukraine will be on this episode of The World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition. Welcome back to this special episode of World Apprentice. We are about to meet the contestants and possibly the future leader of Ukraine. Our first contestant has spent his fair share of ruling a nation. For what he lacks in size, he makes up for it in his expertise on the battlefield. Give it up for Napoleon. Here we welcome Queen Elizabeth, an expert in trade and royal charters. She may be the most beautiful bachelorette around, but her first priority is her country. Give it up for Queen Elizabeth. Now let's move on to the third contestant, Louis XIV. Louis craves power and the ultimate luxury, from his palace in Versailles to the great pride he evoked in the French citizens. Let's give it up for Louis XIV. And for our last contestant and the only one born west of the Pacific, George Washington. He is loved and admired by all and was the first president for the great United States. Let's give it up for George Washington. Now it's time for the first challenge. This challenge deals with how well these leaders can manage their money and possibly the economy of Ukraine. Each contestant is receiving $1 and a lemonade stand. They will be tested on how well they maximize their profit and how they create a thriving business. Let's take a look and see how the contestants are doing. Checking in on Napoleon, it looks as though he is trying to take over other lemonade stands.
This is my lemonade stand now. Ha 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 ha.
Oh please sir, don't take my lemonade stand. I have worked so hard on it.
I don't care. Now move it before I beat you up.
Wow, looks like Napoleon is using force to take over other stands, but he is forgetting about his own lemonade stand. It looks pretty barren and not very protected. Let's go check on Elizabeth and see how her stand is coming along. Looks like she is having other companies finance her lemonade stand so she does not have to. She is able to therefore save more money on the side instead of spending it on supplies.
Hello ma'am, would you like to finance a lemonade stand that will benefit the city? We will advertise your company at our stand too.
Well, sure thing, Elizabeth. Our company would love to do that.
Seems like these leaders are using their prior tactics to run this lemonade stand. Let's go on over and see how Louis XIV is doing. Wow! Now that is what I call a lemonade stand. Looks like he used most of his money to really make his lemonade stand pop out.
Come buy my designer lemonade. This is the best lemonade out there, and by drinking it you will be better than anyone else.
Seems as though he is conveying a sense of pride in the customers that buy his lemonade. Last but not least, let's see how Washington's stand is going. Looks like Washington is meeting with some of the townspeople and getting ideas on the best recipe for the lemonade. He is not just using his ideas but is listening to other people.
I think lemonade is better when it is sweeter, so I would suggest buying Sandy's sugar because it is the sweetest.
Good idea. We will be sure to get that sugar. Thanks for the good ideas, everybody.
Alright, time to see who will be sent home and who will advance to the next level. Washington, we loved your idea on using other people to help run your stand and create a perfect recipe. This really helped your lemonade stand thrive. You are safe. Louis, your idea on creating designer lemonade and making people feel they were better than everyone else by having your lemonade really proved successful. You are safe. Alright, it is now between Elizabeth and Napoleon. Stay tuned to see who will be safe and who will be sent home. Welcome back to the World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition. It is now between Elizabeth or Napoleon who will be sent home. First Napoleon, great idea on gaining other lemonade stands, but by doing so, you forgot to take care of your original lemonade stand. Also, by bullying others for their lemonade stand, you created a bad rep for your lemonade and no one wanted to be a part of it or buy it. Now Elizabeth, you relied on other businesses to finance your lemonade stand. This helped your stand produce even more money and allowed the community to be involved. The person going home today is Napoleon. You are fired. Maybe next season you might have a chance. But first work on your relations with people and not trying to take over other people's stands. Now that Napoleon is out, we have 3 contestants left. Our next scenario will determine how well these leaders work with others and how they act when placed in charge. The challenge is to create 100 desserts in 1 hour. Each leader will be given a staff to work with during this time. Let's take a look at how Elizabeth is doing making her cookies.
Everyone bring it in. Who thinks they have the best recipe for the cookie?
I have a recipe that won last year's Top Chef.
I have a different recipe that uses shortening and mixes in a special kind of chocolate.
Great, I think we should use that special kind of chocolate and my own recipe I have. Now get to cooking.
It looks like Elizabeth has found success in brainstorming ideas with her head of staff. And it seems to be working nicely. Speaking of nicely, nice may not quite be the exact word of choice for Louis XIV and his staff. Before we speak to Louis XIV, let's talk with the head chef.
I understand the need to be in charge, but complete control is unproductive. The cinnamon rolls are far too complex to make for one person. He has taken it upon himself to do everything. I wouldn't interrupt him with how little time is left.
There you have it, folks. Maybe a lesson to be learned? How could we forget about George? Let's take a look and see how smoothly his staff is working together.
The key to my success both in the kitchen and in life has been to seek out strong points in my associates and let them do what they are best at. Then, they can come to me for advice if they need it. This way we all can work together and perform at the best of our abilities.
With Rice Krispies like that, there shouldn't be any question he will make it to our next round. Well folks, the timer has rung. Time to see who is going home tonight. Washington. Once again we loved your idea on using your staff's strong points to put them in charge of specific role. Fortunately, you are safe, Elizabeth. You were able to take key points and come up with the perfect recipe for your cookies. But do you think that was enough to progress you through to the next round? We will find out after the break. Welcome back to the World Apprentice, Ukraine edition. Before we say if Elizabeth is going home or not, let's talk about Louis XIV. First, it seems that you were unable to finish the task. We knew you would have trouble when you took complete control and wouldn't let your staff assist you. Unfortunately, the decision for who is going home tonight was clearly made during the competition. I am sorry to say, but Louis XIV, you are fired. We can't have someone in charge who can't work well and take advice from their consul. Maybe another country would love you, but you are not the right one for Ukraine. With only 2 contestants left, we are going to be in for a show. It's head-to-head and our 2 contestants' true nature is starting to show. The last task depicts how well these leaders can unify people as one. 3 workers at their lemonade stand come from different ethnic backgrounds and have different ideas. These workers cannot work together. The task for these last 2 contestants is to get all 3 workers to unite and work together despite their differences. Let's speak into what is happening behind the scene at Elizabeth's stand.
I think we should wear suits at work to look more professional.
I think that we should have enough break time so that I can pray.
I just wish that we could serve fried chicken here as well.
Now guys, I respect all your ideas and beliefs. But while on the job we need to wear our uniforms and break time is only 30 minutes per shift. You are free to act in whatever manner you please off the clock. Also, we are a lemonade stand, we only sell lemonade, not fried chicken.
Elizabeth seems to have set a single standard, but let her workers know they are respected in the view they each have. Now let's see how the American is handling things.
I think we should be done at 4:30.
We should split all the tips at the end of the day, evenly.
If we all have perfect attendance, we should receive a good oval raise for the week.
Let's make a deal. We can be done every day by 4:30 if we show up on time in the morning. Also, your bonus at the end of the week will be 100% of the tips allocated to you if you have perfect attendance.
Now that we have seen how the two contestants acted, let's analyze their tactics. First, Elizabeth used a standard set of rules to not allow contention in the workplace. She also showed her workers how valuable they really are. George, however, did something of the opposite. He allowed his workers to create the rules and then George edited them to his standards. With this concept, George allowed his workers the idea of self-worth and also unified them to work harder. After the break we will have the winner. Stay tuned on The World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition. Welcome back to The World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition. Now that we have allowed our panel to review not only Task 3, but all together, we have a winner, Elizabeth. I have to say, it's not you. George, you have won. Over the rounds, you showed us that you could take the ideas of all and work them together to make everyone happy in order to create the best work environment. In this season, George has won due to his outstanding character. His ability to appease the people created an admiration so strong, the start of his presidency was flawless. George will be an excellent leader for years to come. Thank you for watching The World Apprentice, Ukraine Edition.